right from the 1960s, when Nigeria got its independence, the first coup, corruption was mentioned.
As in, how can the people now contribute in this fight against corruption?
When you look at it, fighting of corruption is not one man business. It's a teamwork. If we can come together and fight corruption, we can bury everything overnight.
As a citizen of Nigeria,
what can be done to make the society better? As a woman here, as a mother.
The society doesn't want to give these women opportunities because they think these women can come and dominate the role men play in the society.
Hello and welcome to The Advocate. My name is Vincent Fidelis and I'm your host. On the program today, we discuss issues of anti-corruption and accountability in governance. As usual, I have my guest, Hassan Abdullahi, who is the Program Manager, Connected Development. Sir, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sir, I want to find out from you to please elaborate on how bad the problem of corruption and lack of accountability is in Nigeria.
Well, some people argue, and this is a very, very common knowledge, that the corruption in Nigeria has been instituted right from the very day we were given independence. In fact, people say that it is pre-independence, that if you look at Nigeria pre-independence, that all the elements of corruption were already there. So it's an institutional thing, and part of the reason why it's become so overwhelming is, I believe, we've not been looking at it from the angle of holistic society. I mean, anything that has to do with economics and the things that affect people daily, usually for countries like the UK, for example, when the government does something or increases fuel price or increases tax on something, people will expect to see benefits in their day-to-day activities. So when those benefits are not there and people know that they pay taxes, and those taxes are very, very difficult, to pay. Sometimes people pay 30%, 40% of their income. So people generally follow government toe to toe, from policy to budget to implementation, and that is why corruption is checked in those societies. However, here in Nigeria, that is not the case. I mean, a lot of our people are unfortunately illiterate. A lot of our people are ignorant of the very kind of government we are running. Some don't even know that we are even running a democracy where they have a right to demand for what is theirs and for the government to listen to all their plights. And that is why corruption continues to grow, because the foundations for it has been the very culture of the country. While the colonialists were here, they had a way of doing things which were corrupt. They had deals with...
Are you saying that corruption was inherited?
Yeah, it was.
It was inherited?
Yes, it was inherited. I mean,
from the colonial...
Of course. The colonial setup is nothing... there is nothing great about colonialism. Let me just get this off straight.
They were just here to exploit us.
They were just here to exploit us. And while they were exploiting us and were grooming the next set of leaders to take over from them, I mean, they were watching, and they perhaps learned to do better than their masters. You can say that, because the environment here meant that while the British went away, they couldn't afford to do corruption to the scale in which they did here in Nigeria because of British laws. However, in Nigeria, as a colonialist state in which they control, they could afford to do a lot of things. And unfortunately, our leaders, the leaders that inherited and the ones that came after them, just kept on without underground.
If I understand you very well, you seem to agree with the fact that corruption in Nigeria is endemic.
Yeah.
It's deeply rooted. Okay. Now, I'm interested in your organization, Connected Development. You say you follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you track activities in society and then hold people responsible for their actions or inactions. So I'm presently interested in finding out from you how effective your organization and the other anti-graft agencies are in this fight against corruption.
Well, the activity Follow the Money, what it is actually is just one out of many other activities that our organization does. Follow the Money is just a methodology in which you could track government spending, and especially we have 3 thematic areas, anything that has to do with education, health, or water and sanitation. We focus on those specific areas. So when there is a line item in the budget that has been, appropriated, money has been appropriated for that line item, and we go and we do the ground truthing to see if what is in the budget is actually what is on the ground. Now, if we find discrepancies, we can engage all stakeholders, and that's what I Follow the Money does, so that it brings all the stakeholders so that it eliminates the gaps to allow corruption to foster. And we encourage local communities where projects are cited to take ownership of the project. If the local communities take ownership of the project, then it will no longer be the interest of, say, Connected Development to ensure that children in your community have access to classrooms and education. It will be your interest as a father, as a member of that community, for your children not to travel 30, 40 miles to get primary education. And
you see, in Nigeria, we have anti-graft agencies, like the EFCC, which is the one people are quite familiar with, and then the ICPC. And then we have civil society organizations like your own who are into tracking of this spending. Okay, I don't know. With the presence of the anti-graft agencies and organizations like your own, Nigeria is still bedeviled by corruption problems and the effect it has on society. So I want you to elaborate on it quickly. If you really think your activity, you are effective in what you do.
Well, I would say that it is important for everything that you view it in scale, and it is true that the battle is yet to be won. I mean, we key into people who we have common interest with, and the EFCC and ICPC and anti-graft agencies fall into that category. Even the government, the present federal government came with an anti-corruption agenda, and we also key into that. So we have partnerships with the Office of the Vice President, ICPC and EFCC. But I will not deny the fact that corruption is still endemic in our society, and part of the reasons why we believe it's a very big battle that cannot just fall on us as organizations. Yes, we are taking small steps, and the EFCC is doing its part, but it's for it to actually make a very, very good impact in a short time range is for us to get everybody involved. And how do you get everybody involved? Is to increase the level of civic education. People need to understand that as citizens, they have to participate in the governance process. And people don't know in Nigeria that there is actually a cycle that exists, that for every government, this cycle exists. As a democratically elected government, you have to formulate a budget. for you to spend money, for the money to be, legal, it will have to go through the budgetary process. And we want people to be engaged through the whole cycle. There's a cycle of needs assessment where people will have to be asked, and then their needs will have to inform the decision of policymakers in the first place. And then when it gets to the budget, when it is approved, people should know what programs the government is approving, what it's not approving, what programs the government is funding, what it's not funding. Okay, and when it comes to implementation, people should also check out and see, is the government, since it has approved this project and it has funded this project, is it implementing the project? Now you begin to ask questions. When people take ownership and ask questions, then we'll begin to make progress. But you ask yourself, how many Nigerians know and understand that these cycles exist and that they could, make their voices heard? And that is why we are doing advocacy, and we are trying to reach out to more Nigerians.
And it's been
any way we can.
Has it been effective?
Well, I think it is effective because so far we've been able to touch the lives of the communities.
Thank you very much. I quite appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, in case you're just joining us, the program is The Advocate, a program designed to deliberate on issues of anti-corruption and issues of accountability in governance. My name is Jack Vincent Fidelis, and I'm your host. If you don't go away, we have more to discuss after the break.
Right from the 1960s, when Nigeria got its independence, the first coup, corruption was mentioned.
As in, how can the people now contribute in this fight against corruption?
When you look at it, fighting of corruption is not one man business. It's the teamwork. It's the teamwork. If we can come together and fight corruption, we can bury that thing overnight.
As a citizen of Nigeria,
What can be done to make the society better? As a woman here, as a mother.
The society doesn't want to give these women opportunities because they think these women can come and dominate the role men play in the society.
You're welcome back. My guest has been doing very well since we started, and I quite appreciate him. I hope you do too. Well, Hassan Abdullahi, Program Manager, Connected Development. I want to know if your activity of tracking funds in Nigeria is cumbersome. I want to know if you face challenges, because Nigerians believe that the EFCC, the ICPC, and organizations like Connected Development Follow the Money are doing a great job. We want to believe they are doing a very great job. But because of the proclivity for corruption, which some people in the country have, they are likely to make your work difficult. You are likely to face challenges. So please, what are these challenges?
We just released a report of our activities for 2018, and you can go to our website. You can find the complete report, and it is ifollowthemoney.org. But what I can say is that these challenges are known to anybody who is in the advocacy space, and especially if you are fighting for transparency, accountability, and just holding people who are in public institutions to account. One of the things that we have problem with is information. because having access to information is essential to what we do. And there is a law.
There is the Freedom of Information
Act. There is a Freedom of Information Act, which was passed by the National Assembly, which is supposed to function all over Nigeria because of federal law. However, you find some states deliberately refusing to give out this. So
what do you do in a case like that? Since there's a law in place?
In connected development, we try to approach matters. We are as diplomatic as possible.
It's all right.
We are as diplomatic as possible. So we only go to the stage where we would have to institute legal action as the last resort. But overall, I believe I would say that diplomacy works. It actually works, but it's a difficult process, but it does work. And it's just to get the negotiating partners on the table. So that they see that it is in their interest that Nigeria progresses. I mean, if you look at it, if the place that we are now here in Nigeria today is a place where it's either Nigeria succeeds or we all perish. So we do not have a third option, actually. I mean, if Nigeria does not succeed and it does not find a way out of its myriad of problems, then the world is going to be facing a huge disaster. And
from your experience, in the field, do you see Nigeria succeeding against all odds?
Yes, I do.
Elaborate on that.
I am an optimist. First and foremost.
Well, you see, I bring people here all the time, and they tell me they are optimists. It is one thing to be optimistic,
and realistic.
Another thing to be realistic.
Yes.
Very good. I want us to be realistic now from your operations.
Yeah, I could give you a time frame.
For us, okay, I'm listening.
All right.
I'm interested in this.
Yes. Okay, so I'm an optimist. I believe in Nigeria, and I believe Nigeria can succeed. The thing with Nigeria is when you look at it, you see two things.
Right.
You see its potential for good and its potential for bad.
Right.
And in whatever it is that Nigeria's energy and resources is focused on, then it's going to be done on a very, very large scale and a large magnitude. And that is why Nigeria is in a strategic position. And we can't afford to fail. I mean, the whole of sub-Saharan Africa is looking on Nigeria to lead. If Nigeria succeeds, the whole of Africa succeeds. If Nigeria fails, then the whole of Africa fails. But I want to say that I believe Nigeria will succeed because of what I am doing, what you should be doing, what you are doing. I mean, this is a platform, The Advocate, where you are giving us opportunities to talk about these things for Nigerians to listen, that Nigerians should know that you hold the power. You elect people into offices, so you hold them to account. Follow the budget, follow the process, go to public hearings, ask the person who is representing you in parliament to do his oversight. Ask for feedback. You are to be served. You are not to be saying Rankadede or we are loyal staff. They are the ones to say sirs to you. If you follow, the model of democracy, the way it is practiced.
It's important that you're bringing this up because Nigerians don't seem to know that the power is with the people.
Yes.
Nigerians don't seem to know that.
They don't.
People don't seem to know they are supposed to hold these representatives to account. You voted them there, you commissioned them to serve you, and now they are there serving themselves. So Nigerians have that very right, and it's very important that you said it right now.
And I want to encourage Nigerians that there are a lot of things that you should be focusing on. It is the little things that we do that will make the difference. It's not enough to just go on Facebook and rant and complain. Follow the Money is a platform where we get youths to channel their energy into finding solutions, and we're finding solutions that work. If a few of us are doing this, others are doing theirs. You do your part, I do my part, and then it's a whole aggregate. It comes back, and then it amasses, and then the country will begin to change for the better. And that is what we are encouraging the youths, who are the majority in this country, who have a higher stake in this country, to do. That you should hold leaders accountable. And it's not like it's magic or science or anything like that. It's just to do your homework. The Nigerian budget is must be, made public. When it is made public, follow it up, know where the funds are, know which ones have been approved, check if there is any project in your location, make sure you follow it up with the contractor, the bidding process, the tender board, whatever it is, get the information you need. And if you don't, if you are not getting what you want, then you can bring it out to the internet. You can talk about any public institution that refuses to give you public information because of you have the FOI Act, and we can use different platforms to ensure that we put pressure to get that information out. Whatever it is that serves the common man, then the common man has a stake in it, and he should be on the table.
Thank you very much. Thank you. You know of the EFCC. I think I'm mentioning this for the opt-in time.
Yeah.
You know of the ICPC. These are anti-graft agencies set up by government.
Yeah.
And then Nigerians, we know what you do. Your organization and similar organizations. Now, you would agree with me that there is need for a symbiotic working relationship between your organizations and these anti-graft agencies.
Yes.
Does it exist? Do you have that kind of relationship?
Yes, we do.
Nobody thinks you're trespassing on what they do.
No. EFCC is to prosecute, and they have a law that helps them do that. What we do on our own side is just partner and with them. In extreme cases, most of the things that we follow, most of the money that we follow, we use diplomacy to get things done. So we don't have to use the EFCC model. And sometimes we do get them to form part of our field team, sometimes to go inspect or ground truthing, so that we make sure that the things that the people are saying is actually correct. And we will continue to, seek for partnership with more organizations that are part of the government. But EFCC, ICPC, we already have a working relationship with them.
That's really very good to know.
Yeah.
And it's my desire, my earnest desire, that you succeed in what you are doing.
Thank you very much. And I want to just stress that as much as ICPC and EFCC exists, they can't be everywhere all the time in Nigeria. We Nigerians just have to take ownership of Nigeria. We just have to, be responsible for Nigeria. Be responsible for your place, your community, your society, your state, your region, and then your country. That way, and don't just think of yourself, think of others too. What's the point if you are happy? And
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, sir.
Your organization is doing that very wonderful job, and your success will have a roundabout effect on Nigeria as a country and its citizens. So I commend your effort, and thank you very much for gracing the advocate with your presence.
Thank you very much.
And then I hope that subsequently, if you have need to bring you back, you would oblige us.
Yes, I will. Thank you very much. This was an honor to be here. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome.
Thank you very much.
That is the much we can bring you this week on the program, The Advocate. If you've had a nice time being with us, let's do it again, same time, same station next week. Until then, so long.